Hello, this is my first working prototype of the Spark, or I call it SJ Chat, which is the entrance to AI for Spark Journal, basically. It took a long ways to get here, but let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and load up Spark Journal. Alright, here we go. I'm going to start with the Llama edition. I'll explain as I go along. And here we're loading up the Llama server. Looks like it's ready to go. And we'll ask some questions. That was a bug. First question. Coming off of Llama. 3.1 8B LLM. That means it has 8 billion parameters. So the Apple Intelligence was way too slow. It only had 3 billion parameters, and it couldn't complete the questions. I'm not sure why this took so long. I think it's because the model just had to ramp up in speed. It just had to like fully load. Let's try the same question again. Should be a lot quicker. Oh, there we go. So yeah, this is the debug. This is what a chat conversation looks like. And here you can see we have the intent router, home summary. I'm using the AI, the LLM, as a router to determine where the question should be routed to. It was just impossible to write in code, so I figured it would be better to use AI. And it chose home summary, which is correct. Here's the question, the intent. This is what's called the prompt instruction. This is what tells AI its personality, what the rules are, what your boundaries are, your safety guardrails. And here we have total games. And here, all of this is this response streaming from the LLM. Instead of waiting 20-30 seconds for the response to complete, what I'm doing is I'm streaming the response so that you can see each word develop on the screen, on the GUI, as it goes. Let's go ahead and close this down. This is a context, a database context, basically. The LLM routes the intent to the proper database context, and then I go ahead and I load up the data like these all patterns. I try to filter words like using, use, ball, which indicates that a filter is being used. And then we get down here to like games played, bowled on, the typical words that somebody would enter to query about a game, or the length of a pattern, the volume of a pattern, what type of pattern it is. Perhaps, well, this is actually for the creators of the patterns, never mind. This is a comparison detection that I wrote. Higher than, least, less, lower, most, longer, shorter. I'm trying to cover it all in this code block. Let's go ahead and get back to the app. Let's see. I'm having trouble remembering the questions I tested with last week because so much time has passed and I had to go through so many of these subjects, so bear with me here. How does my crown syndicate you compare to my pitchback? Oh, I hope this works. So I got a summary, a quick summary of 2 of the bowling balls. And it looks to me like the Llama 3.1 8B LLM was even able to create some comments at the bottom as well. Do some creative free writing, in which I instructed it to do. If I would have done this on Apple Intelligence, we would have gotten a completely different answer. So let's do this first. Let's copy the question. We should be on Apple Intelligence. See how we got a totally different answer this time? See how it didn't list out the stats of each ball like I commanded it to. Instead, it did bullet points. I keep telling it not to do bullet points, but it keeps doing it. And I wrote this, I wrote a basic summary at the bottom. I'm not sure if the 7-pin, the 10-pin, and the splits is correct. I'd have to verify that. And we can look at the debug. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing I showed you last time. You don't need to see it. But yeah, let's ask it another question. Show me old patterns over 30 milliliters of volume. This question might work. Okay, I find this hard to believe this is Apple Intelligence. This must be Llama. Let's look at the answers. 30, 36. Okay, it's wrong. See this one here? This one's 28. This one's 29.5. 27. Let's try Llama. I'm not sure if I tested it with this question or not yet in Llama. I hope it works. Okay, so at least this time, it told me, no, it's less than 30 milliliters. So yeah, Llama did kick in. It looks to me like my Spark Journal context, the database part, didn't filter it correctly and provided the wrong answers. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, this should have been routed to oil pattern. This right here, this intent, should have been routed to oil pattern with filter. So it looks to me like Llama went through the entire list of oil patterns through all the specs. And it went ahead and sorted it out itself. Which is pretty damn good considering there's 32 oil patterns. And how many did it respond back with? 12. And if I remember correctly, I think the number is 12 for out of the 32 oil patterns that are over 30 milliliters of oil volume. I believe that number is correct. Let's see, what else can I ask? Well, here I created this. This helps you set it up. I just switched back to Llama. You saw me go back and forth. Apple Intelligence, Llama. Here I explain how to set up Apple Intelligence. Here I explain how to install Llama. And here I explain how to use it. Oh, this is a mistake. Looks like I made a mistake here. I'm gonna have to go back and fix it. I was looking for some sample questions, but this is how you install Llama. And then over here, this is the terminal. This is Llama running, and you can see the questions here. Let's see if we can see some more questions up top. No, that's pretty much just Llama loading. So yeah, here we got 4 questions. It took 17 seconds to answer one, 1.5 seconds, 15.5 seconds, 22.5 seconds. Yeah, this is pure geek stuff. But hey, this is what serious software engineers work with. So, and I left the geek world a long time ago. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and hope that you're more curious about it. Sorry about the geek stuff, the code stuff. I know it's boring, but it took me a long time to write this shit and make it work. All right, thanks.